He knows when you're asleep, is the title of today's story. It was the night before Christmas, and as the sun set, young Sophia was excited to go to bed with no haste. Sophia planned to wait for Santa and finally get the proof she needs to prove to her friends, her parents, and her brother that Santa was not fake, he is as real as a snowflake. She got ready for bed, brushing her teeth and grabbing her old camera to take a photo of Santa while walking to bed. Sophia heard the snow falling through the closed windows, her lights were on so she didn't accidentally go to sleep or get scared. She lied on her dark blue bed, waiting for the jolly Saint Nick to come to her house. While waiting, Sophia wondered, why has no other kid actually done this before? Sophia was bored waiting for Santa, so that she wouldn't fall asleep. Sophia pulled out her old radio to play Christmas music as she waited. She listened to Christmas songs quietly in her room while she was playing with toys. Suddenly the radio started to go static and glitchy. She tried to fix the radio but saw that the lights in her room were also flickering as she started hearing a very low and static version of Santa Claus was coming to town. Sophia was greatly frightened and let out a yelp when everything in her room turned off. Sophia ran to her bed, and quickly put herself under the covers, as Sophia cowered in fear. She waited for a while, scared by every noise she heard around her, whether it was the house settling or the wind outside blowing. Sophia began to hear something trapped constantly on her window. Sophia was scared and shaken, not wanting to get out of bed. The tapping got louder and louder as it kept tapping twice every second. Sophia tried to wait until the tapping stopped, but it didn't. Sophia gathered all the courage she had to look at what was tapping at her window. Sophia slowly pulled down the covers over her head and saw him. Santa, looking into Sophia's room while tapping on the window, thought it looked like him with the red festive hat and the white furry beard, but there were things that were off with his sunken eyes and an unsettling smile with food all over their beard. Sophia gasped at what she saw, which caused him to turn his face right towards Sophia, then started tapping on her window faster and louder than ever before. Sophia hid under her covers. She closed her eyes tightly while making as little noise as possible. The tapping stopped, and Sophia felt the air around her getting colder. Sophia decided to look again, but when she did, all she saw was that her window was wide open. She looked frantically around her dark room, knowing that whoever was outside was now in her room. The moonlight was the only source of light, but there was nothing she could find. Sophia was ready to get out of bed when she suddenly heard the same tapping in her closet near the door. Sophia focused on the closet door that was open slightly, and then she saw the man's face staring at her through the cracks. Sophia was frozen in fear, not knowing what to do. Knowing there wasn't a way out, all she did was stare at the closet door for what seemed like minutes but felt like hours to her. The door to the closet slowly opens. All the noise in the room is now Sophia's breathing and whimpers. Slowly, the man's head started to become more visible, which looked like a more deformed Santa's. While it slowly peeked out of the closet as Sophia tried to back herself into a corner to stay as far away from this deformed Santa as possible. This Santa's head is finally fully out, showing more of his neck. This creature's neck was very long, making it look like a huge worm with a human head. Sophia took everything that she had in her to scream for her parents' help. Before Sophia got a chance to yell for her parents, the creature quickly lengthened its neck to get to Sophia's bed, then extended its mouth really wide, enough to fit Sophia in and swallow her whole. There was barely any room for Sophia to move around, and all she felt was a slimy substance all over her. With what little air there was in that tight space, Sophia tried kicking and screaming and doing whatever she could to get out. It felt like forever until the creature started making noises and spat Sophia out. Sophia was covered in snot and slobber, making her colder in what appeared to be a very cold and dark room with only one door and no windows. Sophia put her ear against the door, hearing strange noises behind the door. Without any other choice, Sophia opened the door to see dozens of other children of all races making toys. The children looked tired and dirty, all of them so fixated on what they were doing. There was a door behind the children and above it said Santa's Workshop. When all the children heard Sophia walk into the room, they all stopped what they were doing and looked at Sophia. The kids Sophia's age or blinkness, emotionless like all their life have been drained from them. The older children had fear in their eyes and they shook terrified. The huge door behind them opened. The creature poked out its head with its long flimsy neck, making unspeakable noises that made Sophia lightheaded. The monster's neck was long enough to circle the room next to all its prey. Its eyes were fixed on the older children as it comes up towards them and sniffs every single one of them. The monster stopped at a boy who spoke Turkish. He begged the creature, but it didn't seem to care. It quickly wraps its neck around the boy like a snake with its prey. While the boy screamed for mercy, the monster pulled him into the door that it came from, and all the children just looked at the door. Some of them were relieved, but the rest just stared blankly. A few seconds later, all the children stood up and entered the room. The creature took the boy. Sophia followed them slowly in the room and she saw a big table big enough to seat all the children. The boy was strapped onto the table. He shouted and pleaded. The other children swarmed him and began to feast on his flesh, tearing him apart and eating him. Sophia backed herself into one of the corners and watched how the other children ate. One of the kids, a girl wearing a hijab with blood on her lips, gave Sophia a bloody chunk of the torn boy. That's when Sophia knew this was her life now, to work constantly and wait to be eaten by the children will come after her. Thanks for watching this video. If you want to hear more horror stories like this one, do subscribe and like the video.